we get out of here, let's talk about probably the only real big piece of news, entertainment news that happened this week. Obviously, the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez trial came to an end. There was a verdict. Now Tory was obviously found guilty on all three counts. He's just waiting to be sentenced. I think his sentence is like January 29th or something like that. Unfortunately, 27th, right?
Yeah, 27.
Unfortunately for him, he was incarcerated right before Christmas, so he obviously missed out having Christmas with his family and his son and all that. He's obviously going to miss New Year's, and he's not even going to be sentenced until the 27th. So obviously this verdict was quite surprising for a lot of people. A lot of people lost a lot of money, a lot of bets.
Who the hell bet on the trial, bro? That's so deep.
Young Jock bet.
Yeah, he had to cut his hair. Yeah.
I saw someone bet money. I forgot who it was, but they lost. It was a rapper.
Wow.
That bet money.
Niggas
Lost
betting money on trials.
Yeah, crazy. But so before we even talk about like the verdict or whatever, what do you? So obviously we know the verdict was guilty, all three counts. He took the whole full Monty they gave him. They didn't let up on him at all, despite the lack of evidence, despite the known perjury on the stand. He still took the L. So starting with Clay, I'm gonna ask you first. What do you think? The jury at first was very biased as far as women over men. I believe it was like out of 12, I believe it was like 8 women or something like that. But they changed it and it got down a little bit. So I believe in the end it was 6 women and 5 men. So Clay, do you think there was any bias there as far as the jury? I don't remember exactly what the jury vote was or if they even released it or said yet. But what do you think as far as that verdict?
Yeah, honestly, I don't. It's hard to say because I didn't necessarily pay attention to the trial as closely as I should have, to be honest. And just based on like what I hear, and even based on the information you tell me, and from the facts that I do get clarity on, it just seems like there's no clear cut, as far as what really happened. But then when you look at what he's actually being sentenced for, it's for the fact of just the fact that he had the gun. If I'm not mistaken, like they're all like misdemeanor and possession charges, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
I think he got assault too, like for
Yeah.
like shooting her.
Assault with a deadly weapon type shit.
Yeah.
Because they saying he might do 20.
Okay.
He could get up to 22 years. So
yeah, no, I saw that too. But like, as far as him being, if they want to charge him for just having the gun, that's one thing. But yeah, if they did charge him for shooting her, then there obviously is room for an appeal, and they can try to see what's going on. But honestly, Tory Lanez is in a very sticky situation because he's not from the U.S., and I feel like the best he's gonna get, because off of the strength that he's a celebrity, I think he'll be able to get out, but he's gonna have to go back to Canada. I honestly
they're
think
saying
that's
that too. They might just
to him.
deport him back to Canada. Yeah, I don't know. The point of court or a trial is that you're supposed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning that there should be no question that this person who the accused or the defense is guilty in order for.
Because I'm confused how they said his DNA wasn't found on the gun though, right? But even though it was his gun.
Yeah. What's crazy about that? And just like I said with last episode about the witnesses, they had this. First of all, I don't know why Tory Lanez didn't take the stand. He didn't take the stand at all.
I don't think he should have. A lot of people have been saying they should. I don't think it would have helped him, especially if this was because clearly the jury in the whole time in their minds saw him as guilty.
You think that's why he didn't take it?
Stand and explaining anything. If they didn't, because think about this. Everyone basically was saying Meg is lying. Nobody was saying who shot exactly, whether they knew or not. But up until even Megan's own ex-stylist or hairstylist or whatever, everyone's basically saying this woman is a liar. She's not exactly telling the truth.
Yeah.
And the jury ignored all that. So I just don't think Tory's sitting there and explaining things.
Right.
I don't think it would have changed anything.
Yeah, I mean, unless like I personally think that he didn't go take the stand because he didn't want to say that Kelsey shot Megan. Like I think that he didn't want to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because of the stigma and how it would look. That's one thing. Also, Just like I said the last episode when it comes to witnesses, I think there was one witness that it was just one. It took one witness to say, "Yeah, I seen him with the gun and he shot the gun." You know what I'm saying? And there was a flash and this, that, and the other. And I feel like they rode with that.
That's what I'm saying. That's one witness against every.
Yeah.
If 3-4 other people's stories contradict one witness, that witness is not credible. And then, and that's why we're going to talk about the appeal going forward. But I feel like he might get the appeal.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Nah,
because
win that appeal.
This trial does not make sense. If everyone took that stand and said, "Yeah, Meg is right. Tory's this, Tory's that. This is what happened," they basically disproved everything she said as the story is how it went. So how would a jury, unless it was biased, just because she was a woman and a victim, how could they listen to all that evidence and see those testimonies and be like, "Oh yeah, guilty on all 3 counts for Tory"? Like, bro. Yeah. A forensic person blatantly said, "My DNA not on the gun." Both me and Kelsey had gun residue on us. How do I get stuck with this?
At first, when it all happened, I was like, "Damn, Tory definitely shot him." After hearing all those details in the case, I was like, "Yo, bro, might not have shot her, bro."
From what it looked like, they paid attention to when I guess Kelsey must have sent the text message to somebody about the situation that happened, but she texted, "Tory just shot Meg 911." But like that could have been a lie. It was just a text message. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she could have did it and then sent that text to try to avoid the situation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They were all obviously intoxicated, because even as like,
right.
If this is my thing, right? Okay, boom, it might even be proven fact that it is Tory's gun. He shouldn't have the gun, whatever. If we're talking about someone taking sole responsibility and only one person doing time for this, the only way that's fair is if the gun was on Tory's person, he took it out his, he brandished the gun and he shot. Then I can understand. But if it was any kind of situation where there was a struggle or someone else had their hand on the gun or someone took the gun out of Tory's hand, and he was trying to snatch it back from them and it went off, I don't think he should go do time for that, bro. Yeah, because I think what I think hurt Tory is him and his defense obviously not wanting him to say out loud, "Yes, it was my gun, and yes, it may have went off accidentally." They instead were trying to do the whole, "No, Tory didn't do nothing." You know what I'm saying? Like Tory did it, which I don't think, because someone shot this woman at the end of the day. Yeah. She got shot. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if they had at least went with the direction of like, "Look, we're sorry, it was an accident. We were in the back with the gun playing around with it," because it happens. People have died from being around people playing with a gun, and
sure. And I know y'all say it wouldn't make sense for him to take the stand, but I feel like that really actually hurt him not taking the stand, bro. Because if he had took the stand, like, they were gonna grill him, they're gonna question him, and you know what I'm saying? Like that whole case, you were hearing everybody's side of the story, really, besides Tory's. You know what I'm saying?
So it's very rare that the accused, that if you're the person who's supposed to be with the gun in your hand, that you're gonna take the stand because you're already the villain. And the villain, the point, like the jury does not, the defense is not gonna want the jury to speak to the villain or hear the villain talk. You know what I'm saying? Because all he could have explained up there is, "I didn't do it," which leaves the question, who did it? And if the prosecutors, Meg's team would have asked him that, "Well, Tory, if you didn't shoot, who did?" And if he did not have an answer or someone to point at, that just makes it look like it must be you. And I think that truly is why they didn't make him do it.
Exactly. And that furthers my thing. That's why I believe that, they even asked, I think, Kelsey, who's paying for your lawyer or something like that. It was Tory. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Tory somehow was trying to defend Kelsey, bro. And he did some.
But EJ, that's what I'm saying. Look at that, him trying to defend. That does not look
good. What up,
good.
Chat? What up, y'all in the chat?
Yeah.
So you said that doesn't look good. Yeah, no, that doesn't look good. You're right.
Because when they found out that he was paying for Kelsey's lawyers, that, not saying that's what it is, but how that looks is like you're paying to make sure Kelsey's defense says a very specific thing or goes to a specific. And that too is why it's like, don't put him on the stand, because these are all questions that Meg's team can ask and will would have asked. Why are you paying for this girl's lawyers? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's why I believe he didn't take the stand, because he he ain't want to point at Kelsey. They had, I feel like they had some kind of agreement, kind of weird agreement, bro, where like, okay, we gonna both get our defense straight, and we both gonna get off on this, like, which still don't make sense because somebody did shoot Megan. I think they was just trying to use some loopholes and just get off, like get the case over with, maybe a hung jury, maybe something like that. You know what I mean? And it didn't work out in Tory's case, but I feel like he could definitely appeal it, bro, because that case got way too many miss points. Like we
got holes, way too many holes,
way too many holes.
And that's what I don't think. I don't in the U.S. or in any country in general, but we'll talk about the U.S. obviously. I don't think it's fair if I'm accused, and again, you cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I did this. I should not go do no time for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't have no proof. And if you don't have proof and you don't have evidence, it's hearsay. It's he say, she say. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? There's no proof of it. And nobody, whether you did it or not, I don't think should go to prison over hearsay.
Yeah,
because
the
whole point.
That's definitely what that case is about. Like he said, she said. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
The only place that hearsay should involve some kind of punishment is in school, like high school, middle school, you know what I'm saying? But you're talking about somebody going to prison. You know what I mean?
For 20-something years. Like possibly
20-something years, which hopefully, like Clay said, I don't think they're going to throw the whole 20 at him. But if he even got to do 10 for this, that's...
Maybe he don't get that crazy amount of time. Maybe they like, all right, you're guilty. We're going to give you a guilty charge, but the sentence going to be light. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to give you a light sentence, but a guilty charge. That may be what it's looking like. So, you know, maybe his lawyer knows, like, what it's going to look like. Okay, you don't take the stand. If they're guilty, maybe you get, like, maybe they give you a slap on the wrist. You get about a year and a couple months probation, couple years probation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, that might be what it's looking like if I'm guessing correctly.
Right. And so as far as the trial itself, like, you know, we talked about, like we both agree, you guys agree that more than likely his lawyer stated he will go for an appeal or whatever else can be done. I'd assume he would get the appeal or at least some sort of retrial. What do you think this whole trial obviously is said and done now as far as Meg's part? What do you think or what effect this is going to have on her career and her legacy in general? Because here's the thing. I feel like with Meg, while she was, I don't even want to go as far as to say that she's made a permanent position as a superstar. I'd say she was the superstar of 2019 to 2022, 2022. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, which is what the point I'm getting to, I feel like this whole trial has become her whole thing. Like, whether she wanted it to go that way or not, which is why I think she should have just took the G code, wrapped up that bullet wound and kept it pushing. But this trial has now become her thing. In the past, I'd go as far as say even year. Has she had a hit single that everyone was like, "Oh, this is Meg's hit"? Has she?
I can't.
It's been a while.
I have been seeing her a lot. Like
you've been seeing her,
but
for what she's supposed to be respected for, she's not being respected for right now.
Facts.
that's for sure.
People only see her when she's twerking on the ground. You know the vibes.
And other than that, it's everything wrapped up with this trial. I feel like that is going to be is going to do a big damage to her career, because especially now that this thing is done. What's going to be so interesting about Meg Thee Stallion? She's going to go back to making the same mediocre music she was making before, which is already why her shit was on a decline. And at most now she can probably speak about the incident and rap about it and get some type of clout off of that. But how long is that going to be afloat? Because I don't even think that's going to work long for Tory. So, you know,
we probably got to, just think into, like, you know what I'm saying? If she like kind of put a sour taste in a couple of the people, because like you said, the people who, like, her stylist even said, like, how she's a liar, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? I think she put a sour taste in Kylie Jenner's mouth. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of people, if she, you know, turning a lot of these people's heads from her that's in the industry, is definitely not gonna look good for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, people gonna be like, oh, this don't work with her because of this, don't work with her because of that.
Yes, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, that in regards to that may be the most damage to her career, if anything. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
And she's made herself way less marketable. You get what I'm saying? Because even as far as like promotion with other, like you said, most celebrities or whatever is probably not gonna want to hang out with her too publicly to a certain extent, or have, because say for even right now, Meg goes and has another party night. It doesn't look good on her. It's like, why would you go do this again when you did, you know what I'm saying? Like she kind of cut off that entire side of her now. Like, okay, kind of like when Chris, although this worked out better for them, when Chris Brown and Rihanna got into their situation, it kind of cut off the whole goody two shoes image for both of them. You know what I'm saying? They both had to just go to, all right, rated R, we straight up, you know what I'm saying? Like, cursing, sexuality, because it's like once you're looked at in a certain way, you can't do nothing in that way no more. It's just like with Gunna. It's gonna be very weird for most of us to hear Gunna hop on a new song and talk about the gang slime life and say that he not, you know.
Yeah. I'm skipping it. I'm skipping it.
Bro, even recently.
I took Cuz off my playlist.
Bro,
I can't listen to Cuz no more.
And it sounds weird, but it's like every time when I'm trying to listen to this nigga's music now, it's like, dog, it's just it don't hit the same, bro. It's not genuine. And I think Meg is about to face that same problem, bro. That same problem. Yep.
Possibly. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it too.
For sure. So definitely, bro, we're gonna keep up with that. Hope to see Tory. Like I said, man, I just don't think this is something the guy should be locked up for 22 years for. You got people doing 25 for murder. So
yeah.
For him to do 22, if he gets that for allegedly shooting this young lady, I think that's a little bit extreme. But you know, you gotta watch out, man. You gotta watch out, especially when you these people and you got millions of fans, millions of dollars, and you know, people counting on you. So I got nothing else. Shout out to everybody else that was in the chat. Don, Clay, I don't know if y'all got anything that y'all want to say to wrap it up, but I'm good for the night.
Pretty much. Shout out to everybody in the chat.